Welcome to Saints on Cinema. I'm Tim Wilde, and with me, after a long drought without having their wonderful, charming presence, is the LeBaron's, Karina and Jayson. Holy cow! Was it Endgame? Is that the last time we talked? Or Spider-Man?
400 years ago. Something like that. Approximately. Yeah.
So long ago. This year was the 30th or 75th anniversary of Miracle on 34th Street. And I was like, on Saints on Cinema, we always talk about modern things and I always crap on everything. And I was like, we need to talk about some classic movies. Who has some good taste? And I was like, the LeBarons haven't been here in a long time because they're out celebrating Christmas in Florida, like freaking Kevin McAllister's family.
That's right.
Because you guys moved.
We left you home alone. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, exactly right. You left me home alone. But yeah,
not rainy.
Yeah.
I've missed you guys. How have you been?
We've missed you. It's been good. There's no snow here, if you can believe it. So it's kind of a different December, but
you guys
we're feeling it.
I was actually sweating like a crazy fool. Put my Christmas lights
earlier this week. It was so beautiful.
No. I have sympathy. I was like, I'm sitting here free. Just 70. My thermostat's at 72 degrees. And I'm still cold next to my balcony window. Do you guys miss it at all? Did you guys like the snow, or you're like happy to be out there? I know you're Disney freaks, and that was one of the big pushes, I'm sure. But do you guys miss the snow and the weather? Does it feel Christmassy?
I mean, there's lots of Christmas lights up, and the Disney parks did a really good job, decorating, and we've still yet to do Legoland's Christmas. That's on our to-do list.
Yeah, SeaWorld's supposed to have the very best Christmas. Got to do that.
Really?
But yeah, we're not like big snow people. Maybe Christmas morning we'll miss it, but that's pretty much the only time we like snow. Like Christmas morning.
What about the kids?
Like snowboarding. And stuff.
Yeah. It's snow.
Do the kids miss it? Do they care or notice?
The kids are like, I want to go sledding, but
they're like, I want to ride a unicorn. I want to get a motorcycle. Like, it comes and goes quickly enough.
Whatever flash of thought they have at that moment of interest.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I was born in Hawaii, lived in Hawaii, Nevada, and California until I was 11. Then I moved to Utah, and I visited because where my grandparents and a lot of my family lived. So I was always excited to see the snow, but I never like missed out on the snow as a kid. I was like, oh, I wish it was snow. It doesn't feel like Christmas. To me, Christmas was always like, having a tree and then playing outside with your friends without wearing, galoshes.
Exactly. Yeah. We don't miss
dressed
the
up like the kid in Christmas Story. You can't even move his arms down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. We like to visit snow. Yeah. We'll visit.
Anyway, I wanted to invite you guys on here to give us your top 7 favorite Christmas movies. And can I get a little traditional classic dialogue about Christmas movies? And then you guys were like, I don't know if we could come up with 7 that we could agree on. So you, Karina, suggested we do where I throw you a few questions and then you guys just give me some answers.
Yes.
And then according to our pre-recording conversation, sounds like that didn't even work.
Yeah. Nope. There's too much. And frankly, like the questions that we came up with, as I'm looking at all of these pictures around the border, like half of them didn't even make it because they're not, the definitive whatever. So
right.
Yeah, I mean,
we'll see.
We agreed on a lot, but it's like just
the nitty gritty. We had to do.
We're two different people, right? So of course we're gonna have different opinions on our favorite.
Slightly.
You know what we should have done? And we will do this next year or next big holiday. We should do like the newlywed game where both of you do the answers and compare what the other person would have said. That would have been fun.
Well
yeah.
So?
You know what? Let's cancel this recording and let's do that. Now we're ready to go. Pull up your slideshow and we're going to add the LeBaron's answers to Tim's top 7 Christmas movie questions. Some of these I was really excited about. Some of them I was like, it's a standard answer. And there was a couple I had in there I took off, like, what's the best Christmas movie? I think I bagged that stuff, like those boring things,
Sure.
I did have one question in there that I didn't put in there. And I'll just ask you guys right now. What is actually let's go into our show. It's after the first slide. Okay, so we're gonna do the top 7. I threw these questions. You don't have 7 answers for each one. You just have like what you guys came up with. It sounds like there might be a couple of answers for some of them. And then when we're all done with this, I prepared a slideshow of the correct answers to these top 7 movie questions.
Okay.
Made already. So early for that. Tim.
And we know there's never going to be controversy when I have definitive answers. All right, so the LeBaron's set answers to Tim's top 7 Christmas movie questions. That's the biggest mouthful of any episode we've ever done. But number 7 was the best Santa Claus. Now I haven't seen these, and I don't have anything previewed right now. I can't see your answers ahead of time, so I'm with the audience. It's going to be a blind watch. But did you guys have anything? Do you guys want to like?
Sure.
Yeah, we have some contenders on our slide.
Contenders. We'll tell you who we want.
On our slide, we'll show you like who came down to like our, the finalists.
So the runner-ups are on the slide.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Do you want me to just go to the side?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can just go to the slide.
Hey.
Okay.
Okay.
We've got some,
hang on.
really good ones here.
I might be offended here. Hang on. So.
Okay.
Let me make sure I can. And I said when I was talking to Karina, we were trying to figure this out. There's a lot of things. Even if you did top 7 movies, there's a good chance some of them I haven't seen because there's a lot of Christmas movies I haven't watched because I always end up only having time to watch the ones that I want to watch. I don't usually branch out. When I have, I've been sadly disappointed. Last year I watched for the first time. What is that crappy old? I don't even remember. I'm not even gonna try and remember what it was.
It's a Wonderful Life. Then we're
Christmas in Connecticut. Nothing to do with Christmas. No, it was so stupid. It had nothing to do with Christmas, other than it happened to be a Christmas dinner. If our people argue Die Hard not being a Christmas movie because it happens at Christmas, which there are a million other reasons why it is a Christmas movie, Christmas in Connecticut has nothing to do with Christmas, and it was a boring movie.
Do you want to
that's
see
just
funny?
one of them.
I rented that video today with the intent to watch it. I do love it. I do love Christmas in Connecticut, but I will say not because it's like a definitive Christmas movie. I agree. I will say that, but I do like it. I love it.
I didn't hate it.
Can you name all these Santas?
Okay, so we have what's his name? Wait, that's not Elf. I almost said Elf. That's not Elf. The first one.
Yeah, that's one.
Ed Asner from Elf.
Oh, that is okay. I just watched it last night, and I have a controversial statement about Elf. I'll mention later.
Okay.
Yes, that is Elf and Miracle on 34th Street. If that's Miracle on 34th Street on the top right, the other version, it is.
Yep.
Admiral. Yep.
And then the bottom right, I'm thinking. Oh, wait, there's a little girl's face. Oh, I know. That's because of the arrows. It's Chronicles of Narnia.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah. These are our top 4.
That's your top 4. Oh, but that's not the answer.
And apparently you're already offended because our favorite.
Yeah. Gotta help me.
Do I go to the next slide?
We had to cut out the.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're gonna tell me. I'm sorry. What is it?
Admiral is the best Santa.
Which one? The remake of Miracle?
Yeah.
From the new version.
Oh yeah.
He is
Timothy. He is the definitive Santa Claus.
So charming.
What's
you
your
gotta
answer?
defend that. Go ahead.
What?
Just that he's charming.
I think he's charming. I think he's just gentle enough, just firm enough. I think that he, you believe all of his compassion. I feel like he's been around. I feel like he has that knowledge base. I think that is Santa, and he's very, very staunch about what Santa means and what Santa is. And I think that's him.
Yeah, I think a lot of Santas can be portrayed as too irreverent or snarky or silly or
saccharine. They're very sickeningly sweet.
But he is just very grounded and just very Christmas spirit jolly. And I just from a young age,
balanced.
I love that there's no irony there too. There's no winking I'm Santa. You know what I mean? He's just yeah, I'm Kris Kringle. I think that's him. I think that's Santa. That's Santa.
So better than the original Miracle?
I think so. Only because I feel like he's a little firm. I feel like old one is a little firm, a little, I don't know, more violent.
A little too gruff.
Yeah, it's just
violent.
It's just more gruff. Ed Asner is the wonderful old school, like super gruff, which I love. I do love a scale of gruff for Santa. And same with Narnia Santa. I think there's a little bit of that too.
I like the kind of the fantasy aspect of it. He's like this mystical
Mhm.
creature that just kind of
Mhm.
shows up to do his part. And it's almost like, I don't need to do more than this, like intervene. Because you could be watching the movie like, why doesn't he help out more? But he's like, I already know what's going to happen. You know, he's like,
Mhm.
I'm just going to just do my part and just, I have
I
other
get
things to do. You guys have got this. I know you're okay. And you have Aslan and everything. It's like, and it's almost like, because there's a lot of Christian elements from C.S. Lewis, you know, in the story already. So you put just enough Christmas spirit in there specifically for that scene and some of the concepts that with their gifts, and then that's all you need. And that's exactly how like Christianity was with Santa Claus. You have your ward Christmas party at the church, and then Santa Claus comes in at the very end, and then and that's it. But the focus is Christ or whatever. Yeah.
No, I do appreciate that. And that he's depending on the children to do their part to bring Christ in. It's not, I get it.
Yeah,
I get it. Or Aslan, I guess.
Well, I will say I've never seen the remake of Miracle on 34th Street. I've seen parts of it.
Then how can you be offended?
Oh, because that explains everything.
Because we just did our review of celebrating the 75th anniversary on the channel, and even though it takes us a half hour to actually start the conversation, we get into it, and Ashley and Josh didn't have a lot of commentary. Ashley is the one that has seen the other one all the way through, and she's the one that did some comments, but mostly, and I'm not that guy that's like, you can't remake a classic. I'm never that guy. There's movies that I think could be remade, but only if you have something to say different. I mean, not say differently, like change it. But, you know what I mean?
I won't give anything away, but there's a new reason why Santa wins the case. And so I think that makes it definitive enough. Like, I do think that it's not a huge departure from the original, but there's a new reason why Santa wins, and I think it's a good one.
It's really beautiful.
Okay. Yeah. So maybe that's a spoiler from that response, and given our last discussion, I'm going to sit down and force myself to watch, even though I really don't want to, the remake. I really don't.
So much, Tim.
Thank you.
But I
really don't. But
You're
here's the thing.
The rest of the slideshow, Tim.
There's the only thing I'll say about the original, and this is just a thought I had after we finished our recording about it. One thing I really love, because you mentioned the case, the thing about him winning the case, I guess I kind of said this in our discussion. What I love about it is it's almost like, even though he hangs out in Bellevue, he's there, like the psychologist knows him, and the director, whoever he is, he knows him, he knows the case. But he, at the end of the show, like after the trial, they have that little scene where they're out on the steps of the courtyard. He says, "I got your letter. Thank you so much," to the mom, and he's like worried because he didn't get Susie's conviction yet, but she wrote the letter, but it was mostly just to do a good deed to cheer him up because she liked him as a person. But then she was disappointed at the party afterwards. But like at the end, he has this departure where he's like, it's Christmas Eve, I gotta go. Even though in the trial and stuff, it was like the lawyer was like, oh, I gotta go get the football helmet or whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah. The element is there that like Santa Claus has a work to do, but it's not like the way people think about him going down trees and and all that stuff. But what I like about that is the subtlety of it. It's almost like when he walks in that trial that last day, all he cares about the whole movie is the people's dying belief in Christmas. And he even says to the mom, Doris, right? He says, you're going to be my case. If I can convince you two, then there's hope for the world. And that's all he cared about. It's almost like he wasn't worried about losing the trial because he thought he was going to be locked up or anything. He's like, it's Santa Claus. Yeah. He wouldn't be able to get through it. It was all the trial. Yeah. When he showed up to that last day and Mr. Gailey's like, oh, we got nothing. I can't prove. He's like, I don't care. I look at this letter I got from Susie, That's all he cared about. I love that. It's almost like he had complete control the whole time. He was going to be fine. Mm-hmm. But the trial was just about showing the world what to believe in. So if you're saying that the trial is a little different with how he wins in this one, fine. I'll watch it.
Well, I think just you need to go into it knowing that, like, I doubt, just because of what I know of you, I doubt that you'll like it as much. But if you think of it as like more of the same, it really is like there are so many different things that like, you know, like when a new Avengers movie comes out and then they're like, oh, it's a Broadway musical of Avengers. And you're like, oh, that's funny. I never thought about how the world would be after Avengers. And like when the marching band comes back after the blip, just all the things you don't think about. That's a really cool thing about continuing in this universe is that like, oh, that's something that the 90s would do differently than the 50s.
I see what you're saying.
So.
I'll say the other scene I did watch preparing for it is the scene with the Dutch girl in the original where he starts speaking Dutch to the kid and they replace it with this deaf girl.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it being a deaf girl, but what I hated about it is at the end of it, he turns to the Susie character. If her name's Susie in the remake, I don't know. He turns to her and he winks at her. I really didn't like that. I much rather like Santa Claus being caught being magical and doing something good, then it's almost like he was doing it to prove something to her because she's the character he's trying to hone in on. That's an interpretation. I understand. But I was like, as soon as he winked, I was like, he kind of just ruined that scene for me. Because I love that Doris was watching him almost unknowing. It's Santa Claus. Of course he knows. But that he winks and acknowledges, it's like, I'm doing this for you kind of a thing. And I was like, just do your thing. You know, it's like doing anonymous service. You know, you're not doing it for the show. But anyway, those are good. Why the one from Elf? I always thought he was kind of almost incompetent, especially in the last act. I have issues with Elf.
I really like Ed Asner because he feels like a real person. Like I think he feels the most like this is Granddad. You know what I mean? Like that's what I really appreciate about him is he feels like a part of the family, I guess, and he represents family Christmas. At least the way my family does Christmas. Yeah, that it's very, you know, good people who are gruff, you know. So that's I love Ed Asner.
What that one moment when Buddy the Elf comes out and the narrator, the dad's like, and we didn't know what to do with Buddy when the baby comes out of the bag, and I like how Santa Claus is like sitting there like considering like, and it's not like he's confounded like what do we do, but he's considering. Well, what if he stayed here? You know, he's like, what would a human be like? He's like, it's like he's piecing it together. I do like that human element. He's not like all panicked.
And he knows that he came from the orphanage. And so he's like,
he knows exactly who he is. He's like, And like, what's his name? They read the diaper and it's like, okay. Anyway, but it's a fun element. Okay, before we go on to the next category, I just want to ask if you guys have a quick answer. Who is the worst Santa Claus in a movie? I have my answer.
The worst Santa Claus in a movie.
Can you even think of a bad one?
Like
do you remember Noel?
Krampus.
I've never watched it.
Gremlins. The Gremlins are the worst Santa.
The Gremlins?
Yeah. Every Gremlin is really bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you don't have an answer then. The correct answer to that question is the Santa Claus from the Rudolph claymation movie.
He's pretty bad.
He's for no other reason other than he wasn't like contributing to he wasn't part of the persecution, but Santa Claus would know what's going on in freaking his village and with his reindeer.
Like, stop. He'd be like, get it out.
Yeah, and he almost was like encouraging the hiding his nose and everything when they're like going. I mean, Rudolph wouldn't have gone through that much into adulthood and coming back without Santa Claus being, oh my gosh, I can't believe how badly you've been mistreated and all that stuff. Also neglecting the toys on the island, the misfit toys. Come on. And then at the very end, he's like, oh, Rudolph, turn down that freaking nose. He's so like intolerant. So he's like, wait, I can use that to my personal advantage. And then he's like, welcome. Yeah,
and he's made it play lots of terrible things. Lots of terrible things.
Yes.
That's a good one.
My daughter came and she's like, what is
for sure.
Just invested in your answer.
That's the worst. I thought of some others, but it doesn't matter.
No,
Santa
that's
Claus
the
is
worse than the Gremlins.
Worse than the Gremlins. Worst Christmas movie, Babes in Toyland. Okay. Jingle All the Way 2.
Have you seen these?
Dude, a lot of people think Jingle All the Way is bad. Yeah. They've never seen Jingle All the Way 2.
So between Babes in Toyland and the Star Wars Holiday Special, I think of those two, I guess you could call Babes in Toyland a franchise. You probably hit the two that like the most minimal amount of people have actually seen, and probably Jingle All the Way. But I've seen.
Don't worry, we got you a little clip.
Oh, good. I have seen Babes in Toyland, and I gotta say, you know how I got it. Years ago at McDonald's, remember McDonald's used to do VHS tapes like in the 90s? They would have like little anniversary editions of something, but they'd have like a movie they're trying to promote, really cheap movies.
What a good
Babes in Toyland was one of those, if I remember correctly, and that's where we got it and watched it. And Keanu Reeves was at that time was just the guy that played, was in Bill and Ted. That's it. And then I watched it. Drew Barrymore was like, she had been in E.T., but like I didn't know that she was the girl in E.T. because she wasn't Drew Barrymore yet. Yeah. And I can't remember. There's the other cast was pretty famous from the 80s era. Sure. But I didn't mind Keanu Reeves' character in this. Like he's a fun little charming, just a dashing little guy. And the song they sing, the Cincinnati song in the Jeep before it crashes. I thought it's so cute how they're all in the little Jeep.
Go to the next slide. Go to the next slide.
Okay. But I'm saying I liked the character. You want me to go to the slide before we talk about the other two? Let's do it now.
Go to the next
slide. Now, is this to say it's stupid, or is this to say there's one redeemable scene in it?
No, I was like, I'm sure Tim hasn't seen this. Let's show him one of the dumbest songs ever written. And this is crazy because the woman who wrote this also did like the lyrics for Jekyll and Hyde. Like Leslie Bricusse is a big deal. And so this is interesting.
Yeah, I don't think the clip will play though.
I can play it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Maybe it won't.
No copyright bot is going to catch us on this song. I promise you. Hang on one second. Okay, go ahead and talk about Larry the Cable Guy's Christmas special while I pull this out.
So I have a secret guilty pleasure that I really like Jingle All the Way because I love like
it's cheesy, but it's cheesy. Enjoyable.
There's a lot of quoting stuff in there.
The lines are good.
And so after a long time, I think it's because it was on Disney Plus. Maybe I gave the second one a chance, and I'm like, this is nothing like the first one, and it's like this guy trying to fight for his son's affection with this.
No, it's a daughter, isn't it?
It's a daughter, yeah.
I can't remember, but it has nothing to do with anything.
Fighting and like this other dad, and these like two dads competing for the love of their child, and it wasn't about a toy because like so much of the fun of Jingle All the Way is like
one you're talking about.
Yeah,
right?
The first one.
Yeah.
The first one, so much of the first one, the fun is like hunting for that toy on Christmas Eve, which is idiotic. But it's like exciting and frenetic because like everyone's been in that situation where they have to rush to find that last minute thing.
I guess.
And it turns out to not be about the toy, and that's the whole heart of it.
Yeah.
But Larry the Cable Guy is like, we're poor and
I don't have as many cool things as this other guy.
It's
bad.
It's
Larry the Cable Guy. So,
and it has nothing to do with Jingle Up. There's no jingling all the way. It's just another holiday movie that is bad.
Okay, well, you did have a second-rate comedian in the first one because Sinbad was. I never thought Sinbad was a good stand-up. Larry the Cable Guy, I would argue, is a bigger stand-up comedian than Sinbad as a stand-up comedian. Sinbad was a novelty celebrity, but like I'd say they upped it. But you don't get better than a bigger star than Arnold, and this was way on the way down in his career. Yeah. I didn't like it. I watched it once. I was excited because Jake Lloyd was in it, and this was before Star Wars came out, episode 1. And I was like, oh, this is the kid that plays Anakin. It's almost like I was watching Star Wars. I was so excited. And I was like, this is one of the most terrible movies I've ever seen and dumbest plot. And the whole ending where like Arnold dresses up as the guy. I was like, it's almost like the Scuba Steve scene in freaking Big Daddy. I was like, come on. Like he's not gonna not know. If your dad is Arnold, there's no costume he's gonna dress as that you're not gonna know it's Arnold. That's why we saw the Terminator and Conan and Total Recall and all. Even when he was the woman in Total Recall, we knew it was Arnold.
The worst, like the least believable part in Jingle All the Way which again is LeBaron family lore because it's so quotable and so ridiculous. Like it's one of those movies. But the least believable part is the mom. The kid is always in danger. Her husband's right there. She has no idea. And this man is like hitting on her, like trying to get with her all the time. And she's just like, she has no idea. It's just anyway. She's one of the
I've only seen it once. I don't remember it.
Yeah,
so definitely not quotable because you'd have to watch it twice.
Tom Hanks.
Yeah, I mean it's quotable for us because there's lots of funny little lines in there.
Gosh,
like
so
one of my favorite moments because I have to defend it. Yeah, I know it's not a good movie, but I have to defend. Like one of the lines is the radio show. He's like, "All right, just name eight of Santa's reindeer, and you'll win an Iron Man doll." And
so much commitment.
It's this minor thing. You hear this guy calling in, okay, Jermaine, Cleo, Randy.
But he's so committed. He's like, Randy,
no, not even close.
It's so bad.
Anyway.
You guys act like I'm so controversial.
No.
All right. Before we move on to your last pick, it's dumb. And at least you acknowledge that it's not a good movie. I'm fine with that because there's plenty of bad movies that I watch and I enjoy. But okay, we're going to watch the Cincinnati scene. It's 1:44. I don't care if this is good quality airtime. This is worth putting in. And again, if this gets caught from this shoddy YouTube recording anyway, and they capture it, and Disney wants...
I just want you to one more time go on record as saying that you thought this was a great song.
No. I didn't say a great song. I said it's charming, and the kids in this scene it's cute. They're cute and they interact cute. When they're in the toy store before this scene, and they're like, he's like just good old chummy, just good guy boyfriend.
The toy store before this scene, when her manager's like trying to sexually harass her, this underage girl is being sexually harassed.
We don't know their age.
Charming's the word, but sure, Tim.
I'm not just finding the manager's behavior. I'm just saying he's the villain. That's the Barney character, right? Is it Barney? I think it's Barney.
It's something weird. Barnaby?
It sounds right.
Barnaby.
Well, Barnaby is in the original. I don't know if it's whatever. I don't care. I'm not gonna.
Okay,
I don't have to defend it. This is a cute
Cincy is so natty. Let's listen to Cincinnati.
Okay. You won't be able to hear too well. Look how cute they are. Not
her face. What is her face?
She hates it. Look at that response.
So bad.
So bad.
Look how in love they are. They remind me of you guys.
I couldn't even watch 20 minutes of this movie.
This is enough. It's over.
It was so
Make
painful.
it stop. Wait, actually, when she goes into the tree, that's the best part, right at the end. Because it's like she enters another dimension when she hits her head.
Oh, it's so good.
Ugh.
You're a little serious.
You just like devil's advocate, don't you, Tina?
How is he driving? This is how he's driving, Tim.
All right. Well, before Dorothy ends up in Oz, we don't want to spoil anything. Oh, that's good stuff.
It's my favorite when people drive cars like this in movies. That's my favorite.
They'd really be swerving all over the road and it's like
in the snow.
In the snow, yeah. I love how he's all intense. He's like correcting, trying to stay in gear. That whatever. I don't have to argue anything. She's a sweetie. They're just so in love and cute.
Keanu
and by
Reeves
the time
has specifically gone on record as saying, "Do not watch Babes in Toyland."
Okay. With what you just said, I did try to rewatch this like 2 years ago. Maybe it was last year. I couldn't get past. Like once they get to
it's hard.
Whatever it is, Toyland or whatever, I couldn't go like 5 more. I got to this scene. I enjoy the real world stuff, and I'm like, okay, I can't watch that. It's so weird.
Yeah.
All right.
It's rough.
A Star Wars holiday special. Wow, we could do a whole episode on that. You just want to give quick thoughts on it? I think everyone watching this probably knows.
I'm sure you've had plenty of discussion on this. As big Star Wars fan you are, but yeah, it's just trash. It doesn't belong in the Star Wars canon. It doesn't belong.
George Lucas said
on this
don't watch
planet. Like the Wookiees taking front stage with all their. I can't stand that thing.
The Wookiee watching porn. Like now the cameos are cute. I don't mind the cameos, especially with Barbie doll. Look at that picture right. That's even worse than in the movie. The Barbie doll, Mark Hamill. Oh, whoops. It's cute because this is them like before the franchise was a franchise. Otherwise, this never would have happened.
Sure.
There's some scenes that are okay, but everything with the Wookiee hut is just, it's obnoxious. It's so hard to watch. And my friend Lance, he's been on the show many times. He says, and he's such a troll, but he says that this Star Wars holiday special is better than the prequels. I'm like, you're such a freaking liar. And he says that he works for the church, and he says at church, and he used to work in the media department. He said every year they would have it on while they were working. Every year they would watch it. He said, so he's watched it many, many times. I said, no. Having it on in the background while you're working and you and friends joking about it is not sitting and watching it. It is a physical, difficult strain to watch it, to actually sit and endure it. It's a different experience. And I said, you're full of crap. And I've called him on it. But anyway, it's awful. It's, But I just want, anytime it comes up, I got to say, I, along with many other people, hold George Lucas accountable because he's, even though he's not in credits, it was his property and he signed off on everything. So whatever. Anyway, this is just like Kathleen Kennedy letting Rian Johnson ruin Star Wars. She's also accountable. So anyway. All right. So number 5, favorite characters with the most Christmas spirit. I'm excited to see what you guys, because you guys are so just fun and spirited people yourselves. And you picked. You guys set me up for that. You set me up for that.
I totally say it. That couldn't have got any better.
Oh
is that just a slide from the previous slide, or is that your answer?
Yeah. Go to the next one.
Okay.
Oh, that works so good.
It works so much
Anyone
better.
else? That's Lumpy, I think. The sun.
Yeah.
Whatever. Not canonized. Moving on.
Okay.
Oh, okay. No, of course you put him in there.
Yeah.
All right. So we have what's her name from Guardians 2, right? I don't like.
Mantis.
Oh, I didn't watch the new one. Is that from the Christmas
Oh,
thing?
that's from the holiday special. So
Okay.
I won't spoil anything for you, but she has a lot of spirit. It's a lot of beautiful moments.
Is that like in the real world?
They come to Earth. Yeah.
They come to Earth.
You can spoil it if people watch this might have not watched it. Yeah, don't spoil it. I haven't seen it because
I will say while we did not care particularly deeply for
didn't super love it,
but I will say for this question with most Christmas spirit, I will say that Mantis and Quill at the end, there's a lot of beauty there.
Okay. I would watch it for that kind of stuff, but like I wasn't a fan of the second Guardians of the Galaxy. I didn't really care for it. Yeah,
oh, okay.
That's a whole other thing. It wasn't atrocious. I felt like it was just trying to do what the first one did, but it didn't do as well. And there's some things I liked, but I was just like, nah. But I'd have to watch my review of it to remember my specifics because I only watched it once and I don't really have interest to go again. Okay, you already talked about Santa Claus or anything specific about this? Okay, and then we have. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, Richard Attenborough from Miracle on 34th.
Yeah.
My top pick, although I do love all of these, was Lucy Pevensey from Narnia. I feel like she has the most Christmas spirit.
Explain.
Well, because her big thing is keeping her family together and making sure that everybody's happy and gets Christmas back. And because they always talk about how it's always winter, never Christmas. And she has this deep relationship, with Aslan, which obviously is this Christ figure. And she's, going through these trials, and she literally like goes into the woods, and look at how happy she is just to be like seeing snow. Like
she's so sweet.
I stand by that.
Okay. And and if I remember right, in the opening scenes at the house, she's also the one that's like, whenever the siblings start fighting with each other, she's the one that's like, no, stop fighting. Like she's just trying to be the peacemaker and everything.
Yeah, well, and
And
frankly, that's why she gets through to Narnia first, is because she believes, she has faith, and she wants to bring the family together. And when they're going through this horrible time as a family, she brings all the joy and the hope to the family. So I think that's very cool.
And most desperate to save what's his name? Not Falkland.
Mr. Tumnus.
Mr. Thomas. All right. Yeah, that's a good pick. I endorse that. And Cricket. Not Cricket. I watched something with Cricket. No, I just watched.
The Frog, Tiny Tim.
Yeah. So Christmas Carol is like the definitive Christmas spirit movie, right? Like it brings in all the Christmas ghosts. It makes everyone who reads it and reads the book, watches the story, gives them the Christmas spirit, because they know that life is more than money, right? And they know that life is about loving those dear to you. God bless us. I just think the Christmas Carol itself by Charles Dickens is hands down the right answer for any question about Christmas spirit. And Scrooge captures that at the end of the book. And I feel like we really like the Muppet Christmas Carol version.
Yeah, that's our favorite.
It's really fun. Like, what's his face?
Michael Caine.
Michael Caine is just so incredible as Scrooge. I feel like, it's just Christmas spirit everywhere in that movie.
I agree with that, and I just watched the Mickey's Christmas Carol, which is also really good, and that's where I had Jiminy Cricket on my mind from.
Sure.
Yeah. Yes, and I love the scene when they get to the house in Christmas Present, and they're walking up the street in that shot, and they're singing ding dong ding ding, that scene. Oh, it warms Scrooge's heart before they even get there. He doesn't even know what the lesson is supposed to be yet, and it's like that moment gets in there. And then they do, the Christmas goose. Oh, he's so excited. And they're all like, the parents are just depressed and sad. They're like, he's excited about nothing. This is garbage, And then that song, oh my gosh, when they sing the song about the love is here, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it breaks your heart.
Because he's just barely seen Fred, who this is something I love about Christmas Carol. Is Fred is a character who's nice but not kind, and then you come over here to Bob Cratchit, who because they're making fun of him behind his back and saying that
That's true.
But he's there, and I think that's the only person who if Scrooge died, he would probably leave everything to his nephew Fred. That's his only relative, and then he realizes that even that tie is severed. But he goes to the Cratchits where they say, bless the founder of the feast. And it's just, I don't know. It's just.
Yes. That gratitude of, even though they have they know how horribly he treats and overworks Bob, but that gratitude and the whole family. And he is the heart of the family.
Yeah.
And and then the scene in the future, when they come in and he's talking about the place on the hill where they pick for his grave and everything. It's just and you're being, what's the word? I don't know. You're just being humbled as you're watching Scrooge get humbled. And you're right. Michael Caine's reactions, that transition throughout the night is really good. Yeah. I agree. That's my favorite version of the movie, but I gotta say the Patrick Stewart version is also really good because one is Patrick Stewart. But I saw him live at SoC. He came to Kingsbury Hall back in the 90s when Star Trek was still going on. And he did they do a one-man show of reading the book, and he did it, and I got to watch it. I was little, so I didn't appreciate it, and we bought the cassette tape, but I can't find the second or one of the tapes, so I can't re-listen to it. But it was really cool, and then they did a movie of it, and he is a very good Scrooge because, Patrick Stewart is amazing. But what I also like about that is they show some of the other scenes that aren't in the Mickey's or the Muppet or Mickey's. It's just there's a little bit. They see other ghosts and stuff on the streets and things. They kind of show a few things that are not in the regular story, but that's the best one. Absolutely agreed. Okay, this is a controversial question. While we're on the subject, gotta ask it. The song "When Love Is Gone."
We need
yes it. Yes or no? Delete it?
Need it. We need it.
Need it. Thank
Need it.
you.
The love is gone. The bell
Where she
sings.
sings, where the
Oh yeah, I
breakup
love that song.
on the
They cut
bridge
it out of the Disney Plus. They
and
cut
the
it out of Disney
DVDs.
Plus.
It was on the
Yeah,
VHS. They cut out DVDs and Blu-ray, and then on Disney Plus. And it's like they sing it in the credits, and it does not apply to the credits without that scene.
Which is crazy because now he's all fixed. So why? Whatever.
The love isn't
No,
gone now.
And I really hate the cop-out reason of like, oh, it's boring for the kids. It'll slow him down. And it's like, well, that's his punishment. He needs, he needs that. And
Yes.
I think that's the pivotal moment when he
Yes.
kind of makes that shift of like, I had something and then I didn't have it. So
Yes.
I think it's so important. I think
It's a beautiful song. People can't stand her voice, but I think she does fine. And I've heard that. I'm not going to name who on my show specifically when we talked about this last year, but it's that scene. The way when they remove the song, it's just that weird cut, and all of a sudden Rizzo's just crying. You're like, that doesn't work. There was no buildup for that, and you don't see the anguish.
Cut it better. Like I get, if you got to cut things, whatever you cut things, but like that was a terrible edit.
It was bad, and the thing is, not even just the emotion of it, but like in my appreciation for cinematography, the blocking, his walking, the guy, the young Scrooge keep trying to walk up and hold her hand and touch her while she's singing. Eventually, he just turns and walks away, and how they capture that in the dialogue, and she turns and sees him. Yeah. Oh my gosh, it is so. I cry. I literally cry when I watched that movie because of that scene. And you take out the most heartfelt part of it, the biggest crush of romantic crush, but I mean that's the most. You're right. That's the most painful thing. Not Bob Cratchit later, but that's just like, oh, this sucks. Like the regret. There's no regret in his life without that moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was too focused on work. Oh, who cares? You didn't. Your attention was in the wrong place. Is what that's about. Anyway, okay, good. You guys are on a good roll here, except for you like the remake of Miracle.
You haven't seen it. You can't say anything.
Okay. You're right. All right. Next one is favorite romantic couple in a Christmas movie.
Okay.
All right, let's do it. Oh, wrong button.
See all these people?
Okay.
They're all the same people. There's only one answer.
They're all the same people. I can
Baileys,
recognize one of these movies. So go ahead. You load us through here.
So there is It's a Wonderful Life, 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 and it's
I'm an idiot.
Great couple. They're very relatable. They're not out of reach for a lot of people can see themselves in their shoes. And there's this constant like, will they, won't they? And it's exciting to see how they develop it through all the courses of a relationship.
Yeah. Okay. Here's the thing. I love that you see it through their marriage and children. And I really love the way that Mary Bailey's written, that she constantly is saving the day, and she knows what she wants. I mean, for a woman of that time, and I mean, it is unfortunate that they're like, oh, she'll be a sad spinster in a library if she never met you, which that sounds like a great life. But I do feel like she's written so well. Like when everything's collapsing at the bank and they can't go on their honeymoon, then she's like, you know what, we'll go here. Or like when everything's collapsing in his life, he's going to go to jail or whatever. She is the one who organizes everything. And she doesn't need anything more than her husband to be happy. And when he's saying like, I don't want to get married, I'm not going to get married. Like she's plain enough to say just like, this is what I want. And you can be here with me, and I don't know. And I love the scene when she answers the phone and she's like, George Bailey's here and he's making violent love to me, mother. Like, I love how she's funny. And like, I just think that she's so relatable. I don't know. She's one of my favorite characters of all TV, like of all cinematic history.
Wow.
Wonderful.
That character, not actors. That character is.
That character. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I really, and of course, I mean, they're both adorable. They're both hotties. What else can you ask for, right?
Cary Grant.
Jimmy Stewart. Looks a lot like this guy, wouldn't you say? I think so. Yeah. I think so.
Well, I have thoughts on that movie, but we'll save that. But that's fine. I've only seen it once. I'll say that, which tells you how much interest I had in seeing it more than once. But I'm not going to dispute anything you just said.
Okay.
That's fine. because I don't even remember, and it was like 8 years ago I watched it. So it's not like when I was a kid and don't remember it, but I don't remember the element of the relationship being through it. I need to try and watch it. Try is a key word. I need to try to watch it again.
Yeah, no, I think now that you're older and more mature, you definitely should watch It's a Wonderful Life. Jeez.
Older than 40 is better than older than 30 that I can finally appreciate.
Yeah,
this.
now you've graduated, you need to watch it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So I'll put a
That's-
pin in my reaction for that, but everything sounds legitimate with what you said. And they are cute. It's an adorable couple. She's a
They're
cutie.
adorable.
All right. What's next? We got okay.
We had
I'm
a
excited
clip
about this
from
one.
this one if you wanted to see it.
No, don't worry about the clip.
Oh, okay, don't worry about the clip.
Okay. Most emotional and magical moment in a Christmas movie. Oh, I bet your mind's just soared with that one. No, probably not.
Well, go to the next clip. Go to the next one. Well, not that. So, okay, so here are our top 5, but we settled on the 2 movies that you don't love. So, those are
Oh my gosh, is that the Deaf Girl?
that's the Deaf Girl.
Is that
That's
one
the
of the
Deaf
top 2?
That from the second Miracle on 34th Street, that was my pick. Jason's was the end of It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah.
All right. Magical moment? You thought that's a magical moment? You don't.
Yes.
Hang on. I'll debate this because I
Yes.
did watch this part. The scene in the original with the Dutch girl.
Yeah,
where
I feel equally as strongly about that. I will say, like,
okay,
it's the same vibe.
There's some brilliance in the acting, the reactions, and in my video, I pulled up the transcript of the translation of what was actually said in that conversation. Have you ever seen that? What they say?
Yeah.
He says, so like, what do you want for Christmas? And she's like, I don't want any. I have everything. I just want to be able to stay with this lovely lady. And that's when the mom, the lady, whoever she is like, oh, and like how I love how he like lets her start talking. The mom's like, oh, she doesn't speak, but she insists on me. She's like, shut up. He's like, starts talking right to her. And it's just like, he's like nodding. He's like, oh, and it's not like, ooh, I know Susie's watching. He's like, oh, and he's like, dives right in and embraces her and puts her arm. And he's so welcome. And they sing this song. And it's just, you're just, oh my gosh, it's so powerful. I did not feel that quite the same from this one, but
I don't. Personally, I can't understand why you didn't catch that. You probably didn't watch enough of the scene because Santa's very invested in the kids who are coming to him, and
I didn't watch the whole thing, just the deaf girl part.
Yeah, Susan is spying on him for the whole thing, and that's the wink, is that she's been watching him for a really long time, and that's his first connection to her. That he's like, I see you, pal.
And the wink, because like you said, the Santa Claus, he's really trying to win over Susan, like that. That's
the test.
In the original, that's his whole goal too. Like he wants to win over
later, right?
Yeah. And so it's just he's just subtly checking in with her, like. There is a Santa Claus. Anyway.
Well, and I think the only reason that this edges out the other moment for me, because they're neck and neck, honestly. They accomplish the same goal, and they're both beautiful, beautiful. And I was sobbing through the Dutch one the other night. But the only reason is because the mother at the end, when she looks at Santa and she says, thank you, because not only is her child seen, but she's seen as this person who's gone through her whole life interpreting. And, I don't know. I really, as a mom, I guess now.
I was about to say that's a biased opinion, but I'll take it.
It means so much to me now that it's just like you saw my baby, and her thank you just feels so earnest. I don't know.
Yeah, it's really
okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's mine.
I will give it an open-minded opinion, even though I'm not a big fan of that Mara Matilda girl, whatever her name is.
Sure.
I like her in Doubtfire, but nothing. I've never seen anything else.
You have a daughter named Mara? What's Mara named after, if not Mara Wilson?
Luke Skywalker's wife from Star Wars.
Oh, right.
Of course.
Okay. That's funny. I was like, I would think you'd be a big Mara.
I would not have named my daughter after that actress. No way. But I like her in Mrs. Doubtfire.
I will say really briefly the other moments. So up here, you'll notice is a Christmas box. I don't know if you've seen a Christmas box.
Not this one?
The top left. With the dad and daughter. Yeah, dad and daughter. That there's just a sweet little moment there at the end. But I won't spoil anything for you. Okay. And then we talked about the holiday Christmas special with Peter Quill and Mantis.
I don't think that qualifies for a top 5, but I think we just kind of rushed through that.
I put it together. That's why. And then I actually really love this moment.
What's the word? You had editorial approval, and she won.
yeah, that's exactly what happens. And then I really, really love this moment with Jane at the end of Happiest Season when she's finally seen and she's finally a success. It really means a lot to me, and I when her book is a success. So
I've never seen it.
It's really good. It's a good, very modern, like family comedy, and it's got a lot of heart, a lot of drama. I really, really like it. But it's one of those that, like, up until the end, you hate it because you're like, these people are the worst. You know what I mean? And so it's, but then at the end, it's also redeemed, and I don't know. But
it's like
the family
Miracle.
You're like, oh, you're all terrible. Okay, this is good.
What is it called?
Happiest Season. I think it's a Hulu original.
Netflix?
I think it's Hulu.
Really? So it's a very, very new.
Yeah, it's really new.
It's like 2 years old.
All right, that's my homework. That one and Miracle.
Okay.
All right.
Yep. That's my favorite magical moment, is just
Miracle.
All the finale of It's a Wonderful Life. How they just he's been so defeated by life, so many missed opportunities and dreams, and he feels like he missed out on so much, but then he has that realization that family's what matters, and on top of that, like after he gives up everything, this town comes to save him.
Yeah, they pay him back.
So it's so heartwarming, so good.
Do you think that's a stronger ending? I mean, just as the message, like you just said, than Christmas Carol. I'm not comparing. I'm just curious because I don't have a dog in the fight.
I mean, it's kind of. I feel like It's a Wonderful Life is kind of based on Christmas Carol, like it is adapted from, and so it steals a lot of those same ideas. One thing I like that It's a Wonderful Life captures or focuses more heavily on is the the family nature of it, rather than just Scrooge is be a good person, whereas George really needs to appreciate and love family.
Yeah. Well, and it's kind of Christmas Carol in reverse, because he does so many wonderful, generous things, and then things just keep getting worse and worse and worse for him, and so he slowly becomes jaded. And so the wonderful thing about A Christmas Carol, It's a Wonderful Life versus A Christmas Carol, is that he gets to see the fruits at the end of it. He gets to see it, and so that's I wouldn't say it's better or worse, but as far as a magical moment, Scrooge doesn't really get his payback, I guess, for that.
He had it coming, and it's almost like he's so advanced in his life that there's only so much restitution he can make at that point. There's so many on. And that's the depressing part.
Yet?
No,
they make a joke about that.
They make a point about that.
He's already like 1,000 years old, so it's like he only had to be good for so long.
All he can do is write checks all over town. That's all he can do, and take care of Tiny Tim. Because in the new one, I don't know if it's in the book, but in the new one, and in the Muppets, I mean, they show his old teachers and stuff, and they're in the retirement home. They're trying to listen to them and Fozziewig. Anyway, okay, those are good.
Okay,
those aren't the correct answer, but those are good. Those are very good.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, number 2, best non-Christmas movie. This could be controversial for the audience, but I don't think I'll disagree with anything that you put here.
Okay.
Got.
Oh, sorry. That's
number 1. Okay. Oh, we got a clip. Oh, is that the movie? Okay.
Yeah. Next.
All right. Okay. You have what? Okay. Wait, what? Hang on. All right, Narnia. We've already talked about Narnia.
What is
this crap? Is this Lindsay Lohan?
You haven't seen Mean Girls?
Mean Girls.
No, I've never watched Mean Girls. Why would I watch
Mean Girls is pretty funny when you give it a chance.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Iron Man 3, I don't know. I was just trying to think of a bunch of non-Christmas movies, Christmas movies, and that was one. I think it's good. It's really rewarding, and that one's aged with me. Aged over time with me, because I hated it when it first came out. Yeah. I need to rewatch it. After time's gone on, I'm like, I can see a lot of things, good value to it, appreciate it. But, it's not an amazing movie by any stretch. But It's
I
a
remember it
non-Christmas
snowing
movie.
with when he meets the kid, but is it Christmas? Is it during the Christmas time?
Yeah, the whole movie set during the
it's
Christmas
referenced.
time.
I forgot. Okay.
Okay, here's my thing. So Jayson picked Die Hard, and I want to say that I don't think Die Hard belongs here because I think it is a Christmas movie.
High
I
five,
think
Karina.
it's a Christmas movie. That's because it's an action movie, like it's a different genre of Christmas movie, but it's the whole thing is Christmas, and he puts the guy in the Santa hat, and
100%.
there's so much Christmas. That's Christmas.
People
It's
say
not just
that it's a and I never thought about this, but until right now. But people always say it's a action movie in the backdrop of a Christmas setting, and that's why they discredit it. I would argue that it's actually a Christmas movie in the backdrop of a action movie.
So
agree.
my
Bam.
question for that, maybe I'm not remembering the movie very well. I only watched it once. I liked it.
We love.
I did like Die Hard a lot when I watched it. But like I just can't remember the Christmas spirit element of Die
Okay.
Hard.
I gave you just a few just real quick. One, it's completely a home for home for the holidays story. He's flying back from New York. His family's okay. We could do a whole review on
That's visiting family. That's home for holidays. That's not Christmas spirit. Where's Christmas spirit?
Wait, does it have to be
That doesn't count as that's not all of it, but that's not part of it.
That doesn't count.
tough?
That doesn't count.
No.
Iron Man 3 does though.
No, because this is non-Christmas.
Yeah, so
movie.
Jayson picked
Okay.
these because I thought that all of these, in my opinion, except for Die Hard, I was like, they have a Christmas moment. Like all these have a moment where it's Christmas, but there's more plot than like it's not about the Christmas.
Overcoming working out your past. He has a lot of things he wants to fix about himself, trying to make restitution from his wife, just like Christmas Carol or whatever. He has the conversation where he's talking to what's his name? Carl Winslow outside, whatever his name is, the cop who he's never met, who's kind of like his guide through the adventure and everything. When he's down and out, that's the person he's relating to. The only person that has faith in him, because the FBI, everyone's fighting against him. He's working against the terrorists on the inside. He's having to figure things out by himself. He's working through all this stuff. And that moment at the end of that movie is fantastic, where he finally meets Agent Powell. That's his name. So he has faith in that, but he has that moment where he's towards the end, where he's picking the famous scene where he's picking the glass out of his feet with the blood, and he has that moment. He's like, I want you to tell my wife, if I don't get through this, tell my wife that. Oh, what does he say? He's like, just tell her I wish I'd been better or whatever. He just has, because he feels like he's gonna die. And he just says, pass on this message to my family. This is what was most important. And just say, I'm sorry. That was the final way. He's like, you're going to tell her that yourself when you get out of this. There's a relationship. There's a lot of relationship between the two of them, where she, in the beginning, she changed her name to her maiden name. That's what she's on the directory of. And then by the end of it, she says, I'm Holly McLean. And she, embraces him. There's a scene with the kids. Her name's Holly. Christmas music. I mean, the whole bag, obviously it's a Christmas party, but it's more than that. There's Christmas music going on. There's Santa Claus references and stuff. There's all it's snowing. Then the second movie,
maybe this count then.
My thing so is that like all of these other ones, they have a moment that it's Christmas, but it's not like, it's just a plot point. It's not what it's leading to.
Right.
Die Hard is a Christmas party. So I don't even think you need Christmas spirit. I don't think you need anything else. It's the setting of when it is, and it's what it's for and why he's there. That's a Christmas party.
Self-sacrifice. I mean, just in recollection with your own mistakes, your own fealty, or whatever, all his problems he's had. The moment where they go to the children and the kids and their parents are in Nakatomi Tower, and the bad guy news guy, he's like, what do you have to say to your parents if they're listening? Like, come home. And then that's when Hans is like, oh my gosh, you're the mom. And it's just, there's all this awesome action, but it's like everything about it thematically lines up perfectly.
I'm willing to acknowledge that that's enough evidence for me to say, yeah, you're right.
We turned this guy around.
That's a Christmas.
We made a
Christmas
Christmas believer out of this.
Yeah, we did it. One convert. Now we just have half the population to sell on it. It's a feel good, and you're emotional at the end. The last shot is the two of them in the back of the cop car leaning towards each other and kissing. It's so sweet. And then they do it again in the next movie. but differently. All right. What are the bottom row? Okay, I know what the last one is, but what are these middle two or the first two?
Yeah, so that's Little Women, and then that's
Okay.
Stepmom. You'll notice Susie Sarandon's right here on here twice. She does a lot of good non-Christmas, I will say.
I've only seen parts of Stepmom, and I've never watched The Little Women. Not because I don't want to. It sounds intimidating to sit there for 4 hours to watch a Little Women movie. I
don't like it.
This one's an hour and a half.
Okay.
Watch this one before you watch the new one, but they're both great.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I had a really hard time with this one because there are so many that are good. Iron Man did not make my top list. But yeah, all the rest of these are really like neck and neck. Like it's just, do you want a comedy? Do you want like a really good, literary movie? Do you want like a beautiful timepiece? Do you want a romance? Those are my top kind of everything. So I apologize, but I think they're all excellent.
Okay. And how do you explain that While You Were Sleeping is not a Christmas movie? I guess it's mostly backdrop. You're right.
Thanksgiving, New Year's, and then she references Valentine's Day too, and their wedding. All of this, it's just a part of it. Like she has a wonderful thing, but it happens on Thanksgiving. The event happens on Thanksgiving, and then she has Christmas with his family, and that's wonderful, but not on Christmas. You'll notice.
I'll argue.
And then she goes to a New Year's party with him where he announces that she's pregnant, but she's not.
You have so much in the middle there with her being alone for the holidays, her getting her Christmas tree, and all that.
The Thanksgiving holiday.
Well, but no, because there's that scene later on where she has a conversation with her boss, and he's like, "Are you crazy?"
I'm just saying, I'm just saying.
No, I'm not crazy.
It's a holidays movie, but I think to say it's just a Christmas movie is unfair. It's like Nightmare Before Christmas. That's a bad example. The same because there's Christmas and there's Halloween. You can't see those.
No,
very much.
No. It is not a Halloween movie. I argue with my kids all the time on this.
It starts on Halloween.
Yeah, the opening number is Halloween, and then the rest of the movie is not.
Yeah, that's a.
It's like saying like the opening scene from Grease is talking about the summer, so therefore the whole movie is also a summer movie. No, the whole movie is during school.
That's what I'm saying. It's like it's not like it's if it takes place over multiple things. Then I think if it references many other holidays, I don't think
I'll accept that argument for this, but not for Nightmare. Nightmare.
I guess you could argue because Miracle on 34th Street, the first scene is Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway.
All right.
Okay.
Well, yeah, but it's like welcoming.
I want to amend mine since I had the change of heart on Die Hard. My favorite non-Christmas would probably be Harry Potter, Sorcerer's Stone.
Oh yeah, ABC Family loves to call that a Christmas movie, even though it's just like Happy Christmas, Harry, and that's all there is.
I love how they say Happy Christmas. I think that's just in their accent. That's the most wonderful, heartwarming part of that whole movie. I love the movie. I'm just saying, like when they walk around, Happy Christmas, Happy Christmas.
The sweater. I mean, we could talk everything about Harry Potter, but Molly Weasley and the Harry Potter, like when she gives him a Weasley sweater, that kills me.
That's cute. Yeah. All right, I'll accept that. You're right. It is mostly backdrop, but it is but her loneliness that she talks about in that conversation, that
and the family and
in general. You're right. Okay, I'll accept that. All right, is this that's number 2? So last one, number 1 Christmas movie that you can't skip. And based on the last few slides, I'm imagining that I have about 15 movies I'm about to look at.
I just narrowed it down to.
We both narrowed it down to just one.
Really? Mm-hmm. Is this your collective, your family that you only skip? Or
so Jayson has one and I have one, but I think that we're like my second one is definitely Jayson's first, and I hope that Jayson's second is my first. Is that fair to say?
I think your favorite is in my top 3.
Okay, that's fair.
Okay, close enough. All right, here we go. It's a Wonderful Life. You cannot skip it. I have skipped so many years.
Tim, it's time. It's time, Tim.
I'll try it. I was not I wasn't feeling it. It was violent. It was like, and I wasn't like, oh, I'm emotionally depressed. I like emotionally depressing Christmas movies, which is why Alf Christmas Special is the greatest piece of Christmas anything ever created. And it's fantastic. But anyway, and I got a lot of crap for that when we watched it last year. I made Josh and Ashley watch it, and they were not as impressed as I always was. But that's heartbreaking and sad, but it's good. This one, I just felt like, oh, this is just sad, but I'm not feeling that Christmas Carol ending to it. But anyway, okay, go ahead. You can't miss it.
Yeah, no, I just we've already talked a lot about it. The biggest thing for me why it's so, I love reminding myself through this movie that all the hard things I struggle with in life aren't important, aren't like, they aren't as big as I make them out to be in my head. Like my life is so much more than just my own personal struggles. I've influenced a lot of people. I've helped a lot of people. A lot of people are good to me. They love me. They care about me. And so just having that nice reminder every year is really good.
That intertwining influence of everybody, how everyone's a part of the plan and makes a difference. I think that's cool. The worth of the soul.
Like
right?
so much of the Christmas season is like commercialized and secular. Whereas like, my favorite kind of Christmas movies to get me in the spirit are the ones that focus on that more eternal plan of salvation, that kind of mentality.
Yeah. Good. I like that. So this was your combined number one?
This was mine.
That's your number one, but Karina's number two. So there's another slide?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. This is Karina's number one.
That's my number one.
And Jayson's top three. Okay.
Yeah, probably my number three.
Okay.
Maybe no.
So we watch this movie like a lot during the year because it's so quotable. It's such a good comedy.
Not just Christmas time.
Not just at Christmas time. Yeah. No, we love it. I could fall asleep to it every night. I grew up on like Home Improvement and like I love Tim Allen, and this was, so I didn't watch It's a Wonderful Life. I was like you, I didn't watch it till I was an adult. And so I have gone a lot of Christmases skipping it. So I think it's only fair to say that this one I cannot skip. It's my absolute favorite. But yeah, it's definitely a different tone than It's a Wonderful Life.
I'm not going to say there's anything wrong with that choice because I don't think the one you can't miss has to be one of those really super emotional ones.
Yeah.
The reason I would say this is probably statistically the one I don't miss because, like you said, you can fall asleep to it. I probably have this because I'm so familiar with it. It's probably background because there's a lot of Christmas movies I want to have to sit and watch. This one, I can just play it and I can go on and clean or whatever I'm doing. So that's why this one never gets skipped. Even Home Alone. Even that one I want to sit and watch. Even though you're familiar with it, there's so much.
Most of it is
visual.
action. You gotta watch it.
Yeah.
No, I definitely, I think that it's the most quotable, maybe one of the most like top 10 of my all movies anytime is like.
Really?
They have hot apple pie.
We did.
We did.
But it's just so good and it's so dry and it just, again, I think this is a special one because this is like my family. It's just very like dry and plain and like we're getting the Disney Channel now. Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Like it's just very, I don't know, feels very the holidays to me that there's nothing put on it.
You know what? You're right.
Home, and then they come together and they have to be a blended family. Yeah. I don't know. I really like it.
30-second movie review. I mean, the characters are incredible. I love that it's a broken family that isn't like, oh, the couple gets back together. That's not the story. And it's not just because he's Santa Claus. Like she's already with the other guy from those old Wells Fargo commercials, whatever. Like he that guy's great. I don't know his name. He's fantastic. Yeah, Reinhold. That's right. I knew that. I did know that. But he like just the character, the growth that he goes through, Scott Calvin, the way they create, even though it's inconsistent with the sequels, I will say I'm annoyed with that. The way they create, I didn't hate the second one. I just didn't rewatch it very much. But his character and the progression, the stuff with the divorce or the child support, or the custody trial hearings, all that stuff. It's like, it's emotional. The little things like the beard, his going to his diet changes. And he's like trying to be, he's like just a little bit of dressing on the side and an apple pie, and all that stuff. But he's at the line. The kids lining up it's not even winter, and the kids are lining up to tell him because he's sitting there. And like all this stuff about the psychology and the damage of this man that the judge is looking at that's unhealthy for the kid. It's just horrifying. It's so sad. Watching it. It's very good. And the way it ties up at the end, that when Reinhold's eyes light up when he's like, Like it's so effective. It's so good.
Yeah.
The
Well,
only
it's
thing
so
I
sweet
don't
that.
like,
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say the only thing I don't like is at the very end, like he like leaves. They have the big moment where he leaves, and then it kind of cuts to him still sitting out there shaking the thing. It's like that it's not working. I was like, hey, that was a weird.
Yeah, it ties it up and then it unties it and ties it back up. Yeah.
Have that moment for him to go with you. Like that was weird. Anyway, what were you gonna say?
Oh, I was just gonna say no. I really love that. Like at the end, he does tidy things up with his stepdad, and Santa has no enemies, and I think it's really wonderful that like we see a real dad because like it's not something that comes naturally to him, and like he's lying to get out of the holidays, and but he still wants this relationship, and it's hard for him to understand like the have your cake and eat it too of parenting, and then also I don't know. I really appreciate that he changes against his will, and then all of a sudden he's
and he learns to let go. He's like,
he lets go, and Charlie is the one who changes it for him. It's not, and that we get to see all the yucky stuff with the divorce. We get to see all of the, I think it's so real and so dry and so funny. And
I agree with that.
Number one.
I also, the elves, the ELVs, like their stuff, like their gimmicks, the tinsel, all the stuff that's really cool. And what's his name? Bernard. One of the greatest characters of any Christmas movie ever. He's so funny. I love that actor anyway, but I agree.
It's such a departure from expectation that like you have all these like adorable little elves, and Bernard's like, you got the card. Like it's just
Bernard's so great that's part of the reason why all the subsequent Santa Clauses aren't as good, because they don't have that original Bernard.
Yes, you're right.
Have you seen the Disney Plus show yet?
Not yet. I was going to ask if you guys have. I want to. I'm willing to. But
we've seen a couple episodes. I mean, they're all right, but I mean, of course, nothing compares to the original Santa Claus.
Yeah,
but
I gotta say, this is Tim Allen. I think this is his most definitive, perfect character. This is the perfect sweet spot for his macho-y stuff that he does in that I don't really go for the way he is in he's kind of a bumbling moron. He's just an idiot. Things in the shop versus his over the top stuff he's done in other movies. But like this is like perfectly heartwarming, charming. Tim Allen being Tim Allen. The night where he kills Santa Claus and all the stuff with the ladder, and they even show the Santa Claus waving like this. It's a magic died. He didn't die. It's just whatever. Yeah, it's just so good. Anyway,
I can't get enough. Yeah. Okay. So Tim, what are the right answers?
All right.
So that we can bulk at you now.
Yeah. Okay. We'll do this quickly because I mean, when you see the answers, like, oh, you're right. There is no argument to be made.
Oh, sure. Yes, of course.
These are the correct answers to Tim's top 7 Christmas movie questions. I think I spelled questions, right? Okay. It looks weird. All right. And there's you guys and when you guys play, I guess I mentioned that you guys got to play in the musical. It was a musical, right? Of Elf. And I've never heard the songs. I've never seen. I didn't make it to your show, but you guys got to play Jolie. Is Jolie?
Jovi.
Jovi. I knew it was a pun. And Elf. And you guys are adorable. That's perfect casting, I gotta say, because Karina's all cranky and bitter and happy inside, and Jayson's all jolly. And
like we always are.
We always are. Always so perky and happy.
Right. Exactly. Mean and domineering.
All right, best Santa Claus, hands down, is Miracle on 34th Street. And
I'll accept it. Definitely top 3. I think.
For some of the reasons I said, he never felt like he was whenever he was upset or frustrated or concerned or worried, it was never about whether or not, Christmas. That's a lot of Christmas themes, like, we're gonna save Christmas, and it's almost not gonna work. He would never have that. It was all about people. And that was what he cared about, was people and the individuals. And he looked at the things that brought when he talked to the janitor, whatever his name, I can't remember now. like those little moments. He's like, what is it?
Benny.
What?
I don't know how I know everything, but I do.
We watched
Benny.
Like
Benny.
Benny must be in the remake. Oh, it's Alfred. Alfred in the original. But he's like,
oh, it is Alfred. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Keep going.
Anyway, he's like, when he's sitting there sweeping in the beginning, and when he first has the job before he goes out, and Alfred's like, oh, your costume's better than one they give me, and he's like, do you like playing me? And Alfred responds not like, wait, you're Santa Claus. It's just like he like innately knows.
Yeah.
And he's like, yes, here's what I love about it. And Santa Claus is just like, appreciating his honesty about what he likes about the spirit of his character and all that, and just everything. When he's so honest when he goes through when he's doing the fingerprints and the heartbeat, and when he does the psych test, he's like, we're like, what's 5 + 5? He's like, same answer as before, you know, all that stuff. Yeah, the muscle. Anyway, just fantastic, and he just really does capture what's good about Santa Claus.
Wonderful.
Worst Christmas movie. Hang on. I just think it's overrated. That's the only reason I put it on here. I don't think it is the worst.
Then why did you put it on here, Tim? It says worst. It doesn't say overrated.
I didn't get it. I will reassess and I will follow up next year with you guys.
All right.
But I already said what I said. It's dark, and I didn't feel it had that big happy moment at the end that they always show in other movies when they're watching it on TV. Every time I'm married, an angel gets. I'm like, oh, shut up! I'm like, this is not. It didn't sell me for that moment at the end.
Scrooge McDuck.
He
what
is
was
not
your
here
other
for
one?
these cute movies.
No, absolutely not.
I think Jingle All the Way.
Not feeling it. Go ahead.
Jingle All the Way is one of the dumbest movies I've ever seen.
Do you hate Jayson like as a person? Is that what it is? You just hate Jayson who he is? I just said he's Buddy the Elf, and I like Buddy. And if Buddy had watched either of these movies, he'd have been like, No, I'm kidding. I just thought, again, I was so excited about Jingle All the Way. It was a big deal. It was a Christmas family fun movie that Arnold hadn't done for years at that point. And Jake Lloyd, I was so excited to see, let's see the new Anakin. And I was like, he kind of sucks. I thought Anakin was fine as Anakin. I'm not criticizing Jake Lloyd. It was a dumb movie. And the kids seemed too old to be that obsessed over this toy. All the shenanigans about getting it didn't see that hit for me, the jokes and everything. Sinbad, I like Sinbad in like Necessary Roughness and other movies, but I didn't like him in this. I just didn't work. You don't love Jim Belushi? Tell me how you feel about that Jim Belushi scene. I don't remember at all. I would have to force myself to rewatch. The jokes are incredible, actually, but I can agree that it is objectively not a good movie. Yeah. But okay. I do love it. That's fine. And it just had no charm, no appeal to even revisit. Okay, here we go. This is the controversial one. Not controversial if anyone has some taste. Favorite Christmas. Wait, what is it? Favorite character with the most Christmas spirit. Now, I almost went with Buddy the Elf. But you went with Scrooge. Tell us why you went with Scrooge. Did you go with Scrooge? No, I didn't go Scrooge. Let me see. Because I don't think okay, he does have it at the end. That's fine. But no. The most pure, he didn't have to be taught the lesson. It's just, again, innate in him, is Ernest from Ernest Saves Christmas. Absolutely. He's just so full of the spirit. Like, he's full of Christmas spirit in, like, when he goes to jail or goes to camp. Whatever movie he's in, is so full of the Christmas spirit. He is always Buddy the Elf. Like, on that level of just happiness and joy and positivity, and nothing can go wrong. Even when things are going wrong in this movie, he's like, do not worry. And he always has like a plan. He always tries to figure it out. And he believes, even when he meets Santa Claus and he says, and Santa Claus is like, I am him. He's like, you am him. Okay. And then they meet the girl, Harmony, gets in the car and she's like, I'm Santa Claus. And he turns, he's like, surprise, even when he doesn't believe, he slowly believes. And there's that moment he opens the bag and he sees the magic in the bag. He's like, oh, it's him. But he always had faith in him the whole time. Like, there's no convincing. He's just such a good, happy, positive person. Looks for the good in people. Just such a sweet, emotional, sappy, loving, hilarious guy, full of charisma. I'm gonna give it another shot. I have a very, very faint memory of Ernest, and I just remember being so off-put by his whole energy and persona. Like, I'm really not feeling this guy. So, I mean, we're gonna give it another shot. All right. If I watch the other one, you gotta. If I sit through not the happiest season, I'll watch that separately. But if I watch Miracle, which is your bigger preference for me to watch, Miracle or Miracle? No, I would say It's a Wonderful Life. Well, he's seen It's a Wonderful Life though. Yeah, but he sucked at it. Yeah, but he was so so he's already formulated a pretty strong opinion. Okay. I'll hit him. You're not going to like Miracle on 34th Street. I'm just going to tell you. Yeah, probably won't. But I think since you've never seen it, let yourself be happy. I watched Ernest with my kids last night. And here's my controversy. We'll just say it real fast.
Well, since you need to revisit it, I guess you can't really argue this. I think, and if I was to say this publicly, and I am, I think Ernest Saves Christmas is a better movie than Elf. Elf is a much more popular character. It's a bigger Christmas classic, even though it's like a decade new, or almost 2 decades, later.
Oh, for sure.
But it's so popular. I love Will Ferrell. I love Elf. But I think as a movie, the story, the climax, the stuff with the rangers in the park, like all that stuff, even Santa Claus himself completely falls flat because there's no buildup. There's no setup. The whole where they're singing the song at the bridge at the end to save the day and with the Christmas spirit and all this stuff. All of that, none of that works for me. I think it's just such forced drama just to give them something to be doing while they're looking for Buddy. And I think the story-wise, it's a complete mess at the end, and it doesn't work. Everything leading up to that.
Expectations could not be higher for Ernest. I'm so excited to watch.
Okay, you know what? That's fair. And I'm going to say that if you watch it, all of the characters, we know more about the characters, their interactions together. There's the weird, his impressions, his characters that he plays, his disguises and everything. And my mom hated Ernest. She hated that my brother and I watched Ernest because we thought he was hilarious and she thought he was so obnoxious. It's kind of like The Simpsons when it first came out. Like, all the parents were like, no. Not because it was bad. It was just so annoying. Ernest is just such a sweetheart. And the movie itself, though, as everything falls apart and then everything comes together at the end to save Christmas, it's cheesy, but it's not like a Hallmark movie cheesy and stupid.
Yeah.
It's like fun. And it really works. And I cried. I was sitting there with my kid. We watched the other night. I turned to Asher. He's 15. I say, this is the part where I cry. And then the scene happens and he looked over at me. He's like, Dad, you don't lie. I said, no. And tears going down my face.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Wow.
So,
Brave
and I'll
review.
cry at anything.
That praise.
Yeah.
Yeah. For the record, I don't really like Elf that much. I think there's a lot of likable scenes and funny things in it, but I don't love the movie.
I do love Elf, but it's one of those that like I can definitely see like I think I love the Favreau of it, not necessarily you know what I mean? Like but yeah, like I love Will Ferrell and it's one of those I can have it on in the background kind of thing. So I don't have to.
Yeah, and you know when to come in and look at the screen for the funny things.
Yeah,
He's
exactly.
But you don't need to sit and watch
the
it.
bits, it's like Jingle All the Way. Yeah, it's like a bits thing that it's like, oh, I love this part, I love this part. But like, the story is kind of whatever. I don't know even about like Zooey Deschanel and Will Ferrell.
Yeah, there's no chemistry.
I don't know how I feel about that. I wouldn't say no chemistry.
The scene where she's singing and them in the store is fine. It's cute. After they go on their date, then it's like, okay. When she's like, I'm gonna sing the Santa Claus song, and it's like really awkward. The scene where the kid has the book and he's like reading, I'm like, okay.
Yeah, and it's kind of a weird casting for Zooey Deschanel, who's so gifted at
funny.
what she does, at her quirkiness, but fighting against it. I don't know. And again, like this isn't a review of Elf, but yeah, I can definitely see what you're saying. I can definitely see what you're saying.
You can't introduce like the dangerous Central Park Rangers as like the villains, like at the last 15 minutes of the movie, and then suddenly they're chasing him and you're supposed to be like, there's stakes here. Why not?
On the naughty list.
Why not mention them at the beginning when he talked about his dad being on the naughty list and he's right up there. You have a little, it's called setup. There's things called.
Yeah, you could have had a recall moment. I get that.
Like nothing. Anyway, no depth in the characters except for Buddy and just whatever. Anyway, yes, fantastic, but he's my favorite character with the most Christmas spirit.
All right.
Most romantic couple. You can't watch Die Hard 1 or 2 and not feel.
You're nodding.
Well, I just remember you bringing this up earlier.
No, I see the. Well, okay, it says favorite romantic couple. Okay, not like most romantic. I get it, but like if this is, I can identify with that. I get that.
I did want to watch this scene if I can get it to work. If I can do it really quickly. Oh, it worked.
So much blood.
This is just the ending. Spoiler alert, he saves the day.
He doesn't die hard?
He doesn't die hard. That's why you call it, because it's hard for him to die.
It's hard for him to die.
That's what that means. You get it now. Hang on, we got an ad. This is just the and just so you can see the chemistry. This is also the moment with Agent Powell that I mentioned earlier. Just they've never met. They've only heard each other's voice, and without even hearing each other's voice, they know. Well, obviously he knows Michael McClane because he's like bleeding and stuff. But this whole ending, and it gets cut off before the car scene I mentioned. But this is just so sweet.
My favorite romantic couple was that Geico couple just now. I believed him.
Just look at the love and especially after everything they went through, and they hated each other at the beginning of the movie, or they were not hating each other, but they did not work. They couldn't communicate. They're fighting. Ugh. And she's there. They're separated.
There's a lot of growth in that relationship.
Yes. And they're not even around each other when it happens. It's all when they're with their individual parts of the story. And then here you are at the end, just to see how great they are as a couple. Oh, it's like billions of dollars falling out the window.
Oh, sad. Money.
He doesn't know Powell's black. He doesn't know he's overweight. I see did talk about Twinkies earlier in the movie. His wife being pregnant. Look at that. That's a magic moment right there.
That's my favorite romantic couple.
I was gonna say that.
I live for it.
Look at this. Can you hear the music? Is that not a Hallmark Christmas music?
We actually
look at that.
That's good.
I know you can't. Yeah. Look at that.
Oh,
and she has no idea. She has no idea who this is. And this. You're right. That the bromance is the best romantic couple.
Yeah, we can stop it now. This is beautiful. She's also there.
Yeah, right here. This line. See, she changed her name back.
Oh.
You got a good man here. Look at that. It's like she's rediscovered him in this adventure.
Yeah.
And we don't want to spoil anything for anyone that hasn't watched
Well, and I think that's the wonderful thing about It's a Wonderful Life too, is their relationship. It has all these new moments. You know, so often you see just like linear like rom-com stuff and then it stops. But just like this, like it's a discovery. It's a new place, and we're getting through all of these different stages as a team.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
All right. Quickly, favorites or most emotional or magical moment in a Christmas movie. Now, if the audience or if you guys haven't seen it recently enough to really remember the impact, or if you've never seen the movie, which a lot of people haven't, I can't say anything about it without ruining anything. So I'm just going to say what it is.
Okay.
And that is the ending of One Magic Christmas, which is on Disney Plus. That's the one with the.
Who's familiar?
This is an old 80s movie. It has I can't remember her name. The mom from Elf. She's in this
Mary
one.
Steinberg version.
Yes. She is she doesn't believe in Christmas, doesn't believe in Santa Claus. There's a tragedy that happens in the family. She's this complete bee of a mom. She's like, we can't afford presents, we can't do this. She's just trying to earn a living. Her husband's like, oh, let's do this and let's do this. And she's all imaginative and everything. And she just shuts everything down because she's a hard nose, we'll say. And then tragedy happens in the movie.
Yes. Oh, I remember this movie now. Yeah. Okay. This is a good one.
Yeah, and this is Gideon the Angel. He comes to watch over the family. He's a cowboy that died saving a kid who was drowning. He's not like a Western cowboy, but he's like a cowboy. Saved a kid that was drowning. And he's a Christmas angel. He's watching over the family, playing the harmonica creepily in the tree, watching the kids, you know?
Yeah.
And he takes them to see Santa Claus, the kids and everything. And the whole thing is to help the kids teach the mother to believe in Christmas again. And I'm going to say anything happens at the end, but it is so.
This is a good movie.
I want to see it.
We should watch this. This is a good one.
Also, just so you know, before I forget to tell you, Happiest Season also has Mary Steenburgen. And she's a toxic mom in that one too.
I told my kids we were watching Elf, I was like, when she was younger, I thought she was so obnoxious. In Back to the Future 3, I'm like, oh, just stop talking. I can't stand her voice or anything. But she was hot. Like in Elf, I'm like, oh, she's a beautiful woman. She's
married
she's aged well.
Who's the guy in The Good Place? The
Tim.
That's driving me crazy. We've come up with every name, but you should look up her husband because you're gonna be like, oh, he's the main guy in Cheers.
He's what?
He's the main guy in Cheers.
Oh,
Sam.
Sam Malone is his name. The
Yeah,
actor's
Sam
name is
Malone. Anyway, she's married to him in real life.
Ted
And they've had,
Danson.
like, Ted Danson. Thank you.
She's married
Yeah,
to Ted
they-
Danson?
Yeah, for like 30 years. Like they've had
Wow.
a very
That's awesome.
anyway.
My son was asking me the other day, who's the most successful relationship in Hollywood because everyone gets divorced. And I was like, Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn, even though they're not married.
Yeah,
But
maybe
that's-
that's the secret. My goodness.
Yeah.
'Cause, yeah,
They
they've
talk
been
about
together forever.
So you guys are married, so you have an expiration date then.
Yeah.
Oh, but you're not celebrities. So
Yeah,
don't get
we're
Luciano too
okay.
big.
Once you don't
Right.
get famous.
Not
Ugh.
too famous. Yeah.
Yeah, this movie is super heartwarming and special. It's in my top
Okay.
7. I don't watch it every year because it's a really hard watch. Not just because it's sad. It's very sad, but it punches you right in the stomach at the end of it, like as hard as it's like Mike Tyson if you get in a fight with him on an airplane. Emotionally, it's really good. It's on Disney Plus. Anyone watching this, if you've never seen it, freaking watch it. I said this last year too. Ever since Disney Plus came on, I was like, that was the one. I was like, I can't believe it because it's not on DVD. You can't find it.
Yeah.
They never. It's one of those that miss the jump when they go to new media. Anyway, great movie.
I'm so
great
happy.
ending.
I'll watch it right after Ernest.
I don't know which one to recommend more. Watch this one, then Ernest, because you're gonna need to cheer up after this one.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Number 4, quickly. Well, I don't know where we are. Let's see. Oh, non-Christmas movie.
Narnia, hey.
These are my runner-ups because I think Narnia, especially with the winter aspect, not just the Santa Claus moment, there's a lot in the spirit and the Christianity and stuff we already talked about. It completely applies as not a Christmas movie that's Christmas got thematics in it. Gremlins is just a Christmas backdrop. It doesn't count. That's not my top pick though, but I for the same reason I specifically didn't put Die Hard on here because it is a Christmas movie, and if I was to put it on this slide, that would be conceding that it was not a Christmas movie, but it is a Christmas movie. But number 1 best non-Christmas movie, which is going to be a weird take. Some people might say it's a cop-out. It also makes me cry if I watch it start to finish, is not there.
Where is it? What is
I
it?
also lost it. I don't know how I lost it. Maybe I put it on the wrong side. Is 8 Crazy Nights, the animated Adam Sandler movie about Hanukkah.
Sure. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. There's great music, great animation, great characters. It's emotional. You get to see the growth of Adam Sandler's character, whatever his name is, Davey, I think. And the stuff, the letter from his parents, the stuff at the mall, the stuff with Whitey. You've never seen it?
No, I've never seen it.
Oh, it's so good. It's emotional. It's
weird.
so heartwarming. And just like It's a Wonderful Life, you have the entire town coming together, working with this Adam Sandler playing an Adam Sandler character. But usually Adam Sandler writes himself to be like the most charismatic, wonderful, happy, charming, sweet guy. And I'm not saying he's not in real life. I'm just saying like he writes the characters to be so lovable. This one, he like writes himself to be a dirtbag, and you get to see the growth. It's really good. I don't know what it's on, but it's.
I'm excited. I'm gonna find it.
Yeah, you've heard of it though, right? And it's a musical.
I've heard of it, and I've heard the main song and everything.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I must
It's got good songs too. A lot of fun.
He's like an odd candidate for a non-Christmas movie, though.
Well, it's Hanukkah.
It's Hanukkah. There's nothing. Well, I mean, there's reindeer and stuff in it, but it's. I know that's why I said people say it's a cop out.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, but
Maybe
otherwise
so.
I would just say Gremlins because that has nothing to do with Christmas. Nothing.
Yeah,
All right.
Good.
Number 1 Christmas movie that I cannot skip.
Okay.
I can't remember if these are which one's the actual answer. I think I do know. Okay, this is how I thought about this. Home Alone is it's like the family thing. You have to watch it. White Christmas is the one I want to make sure I watch every year because I love, but sometimes that's an intimidating sit if I don't have a lot of time to sit and watch it. I don't like that as background noise because the characters and their expressions, there's so many things are happening visually. It's fun to watch it. I don't want to just have it playing like the Santa Claus I can have playing. White Christmas, I have to sit and watch, but if I don't have time to watch one and I get all the way towards like the end of the year and I'm on a crunch, I will have watched Home Alone at some point with the kids.
Yeah, it just happens. It
happens. Yeah, or else I'll have been somewhere where it was on.
Yeah.
But The Bishop's Wife. If I only have time on Christmas Eve to watch one movie, it's The Bishop's Wife, not The Preacher's Wife. I'm offended by The Preacher's Wife, the one they remade in the 90s with whoever.
Wait. Whitney Houston, though.
I don't
the
care.
Whitney of it all.
No. The problem with it is a very big deal to me because in The Bishop's Wife, Cary Grant plays the angel, and what's his name? David Niven?
Sure.
He's the bishop. But the entire story, even though there's all this wonderful, they're on the cover, the wonderful chemistry between the wife and the angel is what helps her. He kind of helps her endure the difficulty she's having with the bishop. But at the end of it, he's really encouraging the bishop to be better, even though the bishop's jealous of the angel, which is a serious disadvantage because one is Cary Grant and two, he's an angel. The ice skating scene, the shopping scene, the singing, like he gets to spend all this time with the wife while the bishop's too busy. But all the time he's really bringing these two together. In The Preacher's Wife, I don't remember the specific line or anything, but at the very end before he goes away, there's a little bit of dialogue that really hints and suggests that the angel had feelings for her, and that really pisses me off. It really offends me as a believer in the spirit of what this angel is doing on this righteous task, not a being that has power. He's trying to do this. I don't like that. I'm offended by it because it just challenges everything that I would believe about an angel. And the integrity of this story is that the angel's there to bring them together. He's not doing it as an assignment that he's begrudging because he has feelings for her. He does it because he wants them to be together, and that's who he is. And the ending is great. The relation that they all forget about him, all that's great. I love it. Perfect. Don't watch the colored version if there is one. I think there is. Black and white is wonderful. Bishop's Wife, that's the number one Christmas movie I can't skip, but those are the top three, and that's the number one. If I haven't watched any of them until the end, I'll watch Bishop's Wife. That's why that's often my Christmas Eve movie, because I'm like, crap, I only have one more day. I gotta play it.
Yeah. Gotta get that one done.
Wow. And the beginning of him walking around the city just doing good and admiring the children, looking at toys in the window and all that stuff. Like, I'm just like, and he helps the guy walk across the street and stop. The cars are stopping as they're almost running him over. All those little moments. I'm like, that I were an angel, right? Mm-hmm. I would just want to walk around. Like, he's like one of the three Nephites or John the Beloved, just walking around, just doing good. I'm like, that's what I envision someone like that to be. And that would be so cool to be able to walk around and just help people. So awesome. Good.
Tim, I do not hate your list. I feel like I don't know that it's like the definitive list, but I do not hate your list. This is a good list.
You thought you would, huh?
I really did. I
didn't have a lot of
judgments to be reserved for Ernest. Still, we need to watch.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll call you after Ernest to see how we.
Okay, we'll put a comment on here about what your thoughts were on Ernest, and I will watch. I'm gonna watch Happiest Season, and I will watch the other two. I'll try and do it before Christmas, and I'll post on the thread my thoughts to those.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
Hey guys, thank you so much for being back on the show. It was good to see you. And next time a big Marvel movie or something fun comes out that I have interest in seeing, we should talk about it. Have you guys been enjoying Phase 4? Have you been watching Phase 4?
Yeah, no, we've watched a lot of it.
Yeah, I've watched every single thing, and I'm super biased, so I love it all.
You're still invested? That's fine.
I can recognize that there's some less than stellar. There's a lot of, I used to give everything an A or an A-, A+, but Phase 4, I feel like there's some B's in there.
Yeah.
But again, I'm really biased. So.
Okay, fair enough. Well, next time something big comes out, we'll watch it. But I had bad feelings about the last Spider-Man. And
really? Okay.
Yeah, I did a review on it. You can watch.
Okay.
And I was very disappointed in Doctor Strange because of how great WandaVision was. And I felt like Doctor Strange completely undercut everything that was done in WandaVision, which was done so much better.
We agree.
I can't even talk about
it. Anyway, guys, it's been awesome. Thanks for being here. There you have the LeBaron's top 7 answers to Tim's Christmas movie questions. Next year, we'll do another 7 questions.
Perfect.
And if anyone watching this has any disagreements or challenges or has anything to say about any of our picks, then tell us in the comments below. I dare you, because I'll express my thoughts. But anyway, guys, thank you so much. It's good seeing you, and have a Merry Christmas to you and your family in Florida.
Thank you, Tim. Merry Christmas.
Yep. You bet. Thank you. And thanks to everyone for watching, and happy holidays to you as well. And thanks for watching Saints on Cinema. We'll catch you next time. Buffer. Now it's ending. We're out, I think.